Welcome to episode 2 of the DilaBois podcast. I am Pete here with
Steve.
And Daniel.
and we're going to talk about some more games, some more fun, some more friendship, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that fun stuff.
So, anything, okay, well, we'll get to Overwatch soon, but anything other than Overwatch that you guys have been playing these past couple of weeks?
Yeah. We all know that game got a rocky start on PC, but apparently it's got a lot of updates since then, and it's actually gotten improved. I only played the first 10 minutes or so of it, though, and it seemed fine, so we'll see.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Sonic Mania.
Same. Sonic Mania is really good.
Yeah.
Did you play any of the original Sonic games on Genesis or anything, or did you just play them later?
Nope. Only Sonic game I ever really played up until then has been Sonic Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance and Sonic Adventure Battle for the GameCube.
Did you ever play Sonic Heroes or anything?
I did play Sonic Heroes for a little bit. Didn't really get into it as much. Didn't like the format.
I enjoyed some of the earlier 3D Sonic games,
The Adventure Battle series.
Adventure and then Heroes and stuff. But I really have always enjoyed the 2D side-scrollers a lot, and I think Sonic Mania did it really, really well.
Yeah, I used to play the old 2D games a lot with my mom back in the day, and I'm looking forward to grabbing Sonic Mania and playing that with her and seeing how she feels about it.
One of the coolest things that they did with that is they hired fan game developers to develop the game.
Yeah, a lot of the developers they used were people that were making
Sonics.
rehashes. There was Sonic HD or something like that.
Yeah, one of them did a Sonic 2 HD or something. One of them remade a bunch of levels, and then some of them just made some original fan games.
Yeah. They're really passionate about what they do, and they've done really good work. I've seen some videos of guys playing it, and they look amazing.
I remember one of the guys, I can't think of his name. I think it's Christian Whitehead or something.
Christian Whitehead, yep.
He developed a whole engine that was designed to replicate the original Sonic stuff for I think it was mobile releases actually.
Yeah, I think it was called Retro Engine or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was completely different than what the Sonic team had been using, which would have just been the old engine.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't really new graphics or add new features to the old engine, so he completely made the new engine from scratch, frame by frame, with all the old games in mind. He made it completely new, so it could be HD and everything.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was, he had originally made that for the PC, and then when they took him on for the mobile, he redid it for the mobile from the ground up too. He did it twice.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He put a lot of time and effort into his fan makes.
He seems like a hard worker. It's
Yeah.
good. It's cool to see people from game communities get picked up by developers and hired and stuff.
I'm pretty sure they even pitched their ideas to Sega because they wanted to do it with Sega.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because they pitched it, they said they liked it, but didn't hear anything about it, and then all of a sudden they were just "Yep, nope, we have all these jobs lined up for you."
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of "Oh, all right."
But I've had a lot of fun. It definitely has been a trip down nostalgia. The soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah, the sounds are A1.
I want to say the sound guy was another fan guy. He was doing Sonic remixes and stuff, and then he hired him on.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, I want to say you're right. I remember seeing that too. Yeah, no, they definitely, it's one big love letter essentially to the retro Sonic games.
Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely having a lot of fun. I'm almost at the end, I think, but I still have some to go.
I'm not far at all. I'm only on flying battery.
Yeah.
I've had it for a week now.
Now, one of the things I've heard in the reviews is that people wish there were more original levels, or not rehashes of the old levels. Do you feel there's a good balance, or
I think there's a good balance. I played a lot of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, so I can't really tell which ones are from 3 and Knuckles, because I didn't play those games as much. But from what I feel, there's a good balance, and it feels like a fun mixture.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of that though, what are your thoughts in general just on remakes, redos, re-HD releases?
Well, how do you... Okay, so I actually had this question. How do you guys feel about remakes versus remasters versus re-releases?
What would your distinction between the three be?
Okay, so re-releasing is what Nintendo does, where they give you a virtual console and put it out. Okay. And that I put that a lot with Nintendo. Nintendo likes doing that a lot, especially even the Switch. A lot of the games on the Switch have been re-releases. Yes, they add extra content, but it's not it's for the most part the same graphics, same everything.
Okay.
Remaster I see as one game.
Like HD
just,
version?
Yeah, it's just kind of given a new coat of paint. And then remaking, I would say, is like what they did with Crash and
like same levels but completely like new, like everything else.
Yeah, and also maybe adding a couple more things in there too, or even a remaking. I would also put like a reimagining, like Sonic Mania, in there.
Yeah, you see, I like re-releases when it's for a game that's been out for a while, and they're putting on the modern day console to run on like a modern day engine because. Like, games like the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD release was sweet because it had a few generations in between it. It had the Wii, and the graphics were... I mean, the hardware was getting older, and there was some stuff they could redo with it. And it was nice to have it come back in an HD on a game that already looked beautiful. Like, on our new current system at the time. And that was really nice. And it was a really, breath of fresh air for it.
And another thing, going back to that, because I was actually going to mention the Zelda HD series, both... Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, is that I don't know. I feel like it gives it, like, as I said, another breath of fresh air. But at the same time, like, I feel like I was really like wanting to go back and play that game around the same time the Wii U came out with Wind Waker HD, and I went back to play it on the GameCube, and I was like, wow, this does not hold up as much as I thought it would. And I actually bought a Wii U around that same time and got that game, and I was really like, it definitely. Scratch an itch I had. And I think that's what any remake or re-release should do, is scratch an itch.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then it's kind of a failure.
And then there are certain games where it was like, when the PS4 came out, they redid Last of Us for the PS4, which made sense because they wanted a game that would be popular for the PS4, but it was $60. You didn't really get much else with it, and it was just the same game over again. For $60 on a new console. Yeah. And stuff like that where it's like, I understand why. I understand the logic behind it, but I wouldn't, after shelling out $500, shell out another $60 for a game I've already beaten.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that being like, trying to draw like new players in. Because The Last of Us is PS exclusive, right?
Yep, Sony exclusive.
So like if someone was switching over from 360 to PS4, which apparently a lot of people did because the PS4 is really outselling the Xbox completely this generation. I can see that being appealing to crossover fans.
Xbox One, this is a topic for a whole nother podcast, which I actually would like to talk about, like a console wars on a podcast. But Xbox really kind of shot themselves in the foot at the beginning of this generation. They made a lot of announcements that people did not like, and even though they backpedaled on that, it hurt them.
Yeah.
Because people didn't realize that they backpedaled. They heard that initial thing, immediately said, nope, not doing it, and didn't care anymore.
And so, I'm sure you guys all remember... Steve, you were the only one who got into this generation around the time of release, right? Of the three of us here. Like, was your first, like, dip into the console the PS4? This generation?
Can you say Wii U this generation?
Okay, I'm talking about Xbox One. Sorry, Xbox One and PS4.
No, I didn't even touch it, because I had built a PC by then, and I didn't need to worry about it.
I didn't get a PS4 until a couple months ago, which is, at this point, coming to the tail end of this generation. I had a Wii U. I think we all had a Wii U. But... I kind of see Nintendo as on its own separate thing. Yeah, it's part of different console generations, but they're kind of defining their own rules, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
But if you remember, at the beginning of this console generation, there was no cross-compatibility on either of the systems in terms of backwards compatibility. Sorry, I said cross-compatibility. And a big thing was blank HD coming out. Like Bioshock Collection HD, Assassin's Creed Collection HD. A lot of these... last generation 360 PS3 games that were coming to the new generation, but in HD remakes. And I know those had a lot of bugs a lot of the time.
I'm pretty sure the PC Bioshock release got murdered when it first came out for all the bugs it had.
Well, I'm pretty sure it didn't even... It was just a package. It wasn't even like a different game at all, was it?
They were basically the same games with up-res textures.
But I thought the games already had up-res textures.
Oh, on the PC?
I'm pretty sure it didn't even come out for the PC. Did it?
I think
it did. I saw it on Steam. It was put on my my queue, and I was just like, oh, wow, this has a lot of negative reviews on it.
Weird.
Yeah. It from when it came out, it had a lot of bugs, a lot of problems, not a lot of customization when it came to like your settings, which is a death wish if you're putting a game on PC and not giving it a lot of options for customization, because that's just how the PC community works. They like to customize.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why the modding community revolted against GTA for a little bit when they tried to get rid of mods and try to like, push the microtransactions, and they all rioted.
Well, if you're making as much money as GTA is like still making to this day, like they're still making a lot of money. Like I understand, like trying to protect your investment because, like it's ridiculous. Like because they're still working on that game. Like they just made a new DLC recently, and they give you the DLC for free, but they're gonna make money hand over fist for it, and they're gonna protect that investment.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. It's just interesting to see how communities react when people try things like that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can still mod the story mode pretty well, but I think they keep the online pretty mod free.
Okay, so I looked into it. BioShock 1 and 2 and 3 were Infinite, not 3, were released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as part of the remastered collection. Infinite had no changes from its original game. They just ported it over. And on the PC, BioShock 1 and 2 were given patches, but they were free upgrades to the new HD versions, or HD, air quotes. Up-resed, basically. Yeah. And I think those patches did come with some problems for...
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny when people try to, like, put HD, for a PC game when it's like, there's already a community that's already made, 4K textures and, like, took in the game and overhauled it in the graphical department.
Like, I don't know if you've seen those videos online where it's, like, the people putting Ocarina of Time in, like, the Unreal 4 engine.
Yes, I love watching those videos because it's so cool to see.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that'll be a full game release or not.
A topic for another podcast, because I would like to talk about it today, but it's something I definitely want to do more research into, is game companies' general, like, shafting of the PC. And putting out crappy PC ports and stuff. And,
like I said, like I'm playing Arkham Knight, and that was a rough release. I think the first, like, big one that everyone got really mad about was Watch Dogs. Yeah, Watch Dogs got a horrible...
That is definitely something that I want to be more prepared for.
A game about hacking, of revolving around computers with a PC port that lets you essentially just play the console version without even modifying it.
Yes. And it was poorly optimized too.
Yep. So I played both 1 and 2 on PC and on console. The second one did really, really well on my PC though. I was able to run it at 60 FPS at 1080, and it looked nice. So they definitely were able to fix a lot of the things.
So, going to Nintendo. Nintendo seems to be firmly in the camp of re-releasing their games. There have been a couple exceptions, like we talked about the... Zelda has been getting a bunch of HD remakes. Because they're not HD, but Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask got graphical improvements for...
The 3DS.
Did they call Ocarina of Time HD?
No.
Okay, I was going to make sure, because the 3DS screen, I think it's like 240.
It's something really low. I think, I mean, they definitely added stuff. They added, like, the C-stick control.
And they made it look a little better, too.
They definitely, And with Majora's Mask, they actually, I would say they gave it, like, a big patch, almost. Because, like, they added things that people kind of wanted in the game. Like the notebook, the Bombers, whatever notebook.
Yeah.
Which made the game, like, a little bit easier.
Streamlined it, really.
Yeah, streamlined a little bit.
Cut down on some, like, quest stuff. Or some fetch quest stuff. I played both those games on my my PS3. Not my PS3. Wow.
3DS.
My 3DS. Wrong 3 word. And I actually really liked them. They did well with the port, and it was nice to have it on the go.
Yeah.
I could take my Zelda wherever I wanted. Which would soon be a thing with the Switch. I didn't know I'd like it until I did.
It'd be cool to see those versions of the game on the Switch too.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually make them HD.
Did either of them have heavy reliance on the dual screen functionality?
I would say.
I mean, the original games didn't, so
Yeah, I would say it'd be easy to like not have that in the game.
Yeah, but it did help having like with Majora's Mask having all your masks on your bottom screen, so you could just quick select.
Yeah.
And then Ocarina of Time, I believe, kept your inventory, which made the water temple such a breeze. Having to go into your pause menu, find your iron boots, equip them, get out of the pause menu, sync to where you need to sync, and then go back and do it all over again.
But at the same time, like, Nintendo is good at releasing Zelda games. Like, they if they wanted to do that, they find a way.
Yeah, Nintendo definitely protects their like IPs. They really make them. They give them a good. Give them what they need.
And the one thing though is like, Virtual Console has been around for a while now. I think was the Wii the first system that had the Virtual Console?
I believe so.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's the first one that really had like internet really integrated
Wii,
into it.
and then the 3DS, and then the Wii U, and not the Switch yet. But
I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for on the Switch right now, is the Virtual Console.
I know a lot of people are. It's kind of even become a meme about Nintendo will sell you the same game like as much times as they can.
But you see, with Nintendo, at least they don't sell it at full price again.
Yeah, but
I'm looking at you, Skyrim.
I know a lot of people are upset that Nintendo is very, very bad about cross Virtual Console compatibility, in the sense of, I bought all these games on the Wii. Can I get them on my Wii U? No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I got it on my 3DS. Look, they have it on the Wii U too. Can I download it there? No, there's not really a lot of. Everything seems to be console locked, and I hope that the Switch might allow for some pulling from the Wii U and the 3DS if they ever do put a Virtual Console on it.
I want to say Reggie Fils-Aimé brought that up in an interview he did with a YouTuber. I think it was Pro Gerard or
Pro Jared or Gerard.
You know, both. Pro Gerard, the finishist.
Okay.
He brought that up that they've heard the community say that, and they're gonna try and find a solution for it. He was very vague. Reggie's very good at knowing what questions he can and can't answer for on behalf of the company. And I was president of the USA Nintendo. He probably has to be, but I trust that they're gonna do something. I think they said something about doing a Netflix style thing where you pay prescription. That's right. Subscription. Doctor, I have achy bones. Here's some Nintendo.
I have the flu. Oh, here's the passcode for Nintendo games. How does this help me? You're gonna die.
But it'd be interesting to see you can just play as many games as you want as long as you pay $6 a month, $10 a month. And PlayStation does that now with PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus. What is it now?
Yeah, PlayStation Now does that. Even Xbox has that too. They have their own catalog of games from the original Xbox era up to now, where you can pay so many months. They cycle them in. There's this many games come in. You can play them for however long. Take them out for a new set of games.
Yeah, the thing with that is though, with the PlayStation Now, you don't download the games. You just stream them. And I think that would hurt the Switch a lot if that was the case, because it's an on-the-go console. I don't want to be having to be on the internet when I'm playing the games I want to play. If I want to play Mario on an airplane, I don't want to have a connection.
Yeah, that's fair. Hopefully what they'll do instead of doing that, they'll take PlayStation Pluses route, where as long as you're signed up for it, you get this many games for the month and you can download them.
Yeah.
And then you keep them for as long as you're paying that subscription, and when it's done, it's locked. You don't pay it. So that would probably be the better route to go if they go that route at all.
But everyone has such favorites in their consoles. I think it would be limiting to have only we're just having Mario this month when people want to play
Kirby.
Metroid or Kirby. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I am very excited for that Kirby game coming out in 2018.
Which one was that?
Kirby something. I don't think they give it a name yet. It's just they did it in honor of his 25th anniversary.
I can't remember if they give it a name or they just give the splash screen that just said Kirby. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that because I've always loved Kirby growing up.
We have the Metroid game coming out this next September.
Okay, yeah. So also on the topic of that Metroid thing, Nintendo likes to do this, so let's remove them from the equation and let's talk about developers that primarily develop for like PS4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Retro gaming and nostalgia are a huge market. And through that, we see things like Crash Bandicoot Remaster. I know people are clamoring for a Spyro remaster now.
Yeah, true Spyro.
We got... Was the Rare Collection a remaster, or was it just the Rare games re-released?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I never played it.
It was Xbox only, right? Xbox One only?
Yeah,
Yes.
because Xbox is now Rare.
Yeah.
Or owns Rare.
Microsoft owns Rare.
So, what are your thoughts on the merits of re-releasing a game in HD like they did with the Crash Bandicoot collection, or making a game in the same retro style but in the modern age? Nintendo does this a lot. Like, they did New Super Mario Bros., New Super Mario Bros. U, which like went back to classic Mario playstyle, 2D side-scrolling. A side-scrolling Metroid is coming to the 3DS.
I would just call those sequels more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. But do you think there's still a market for those outside of Nintendo?
Oh, absolutely. People like them. It's just people who play those kind of games are more found on Nintendo, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
If not Nintendo, then PC. Because that's where the indie scene is right now. An indie scene, because indie game developers don't have the money to make big budget 3D action games. They tend to stick to the 2D side-scrolling platformers, or not always platformers, but 2D in general.
Like, I'm curious how. What if instead of Crash Remastered, Activision made Crash 4? It looks like remastered looks, but it plays like an old Crash game. Do you think that would be as successful as the Insane Trilogy?
I think they actually do try and do stuff like that, and it ends up like failing because like there was Spyro like Heroes Tale or something like that, and I played it on the GameCube, and I think I was like one of like 1,000 people that played on the GameCube. Like,
So do you think these games live on and sell well still primarily because of nostalgia?
yeah, I think like this nostalgia is like the biggest proponent for a lot of these games because like Nintendo runs on nostalgia. We kind of discussed that. I think like unless it's like harkening back, like when the people try to make new games, they kind of fail, or whatever. And like actually, when the Crash game was getting released, like the main guy that made the Crash games is like, I don't want to make the old games again. I want to make new games.
Yeah.
And they were kind of just like, shh, no, we're making the old games again.
People think they want nostalgia. Or people think they want the games to be old. But unless it is that game, or a remake of that game, they want advancements. They want something new. Like, people want improvements.
Yeah.
And that's why we've gotten to games that we have now. Games are constantly evolving because they're...
I guess it comes down to like a balance. You have to find a way to kind of bring in a lot of the things that brought people in the beginning with the game, but also add in things to keep it fresh. You gotta find that balance in there. Because I know that's one of the things I liked about the Wind Waker HD was they kept everything the same, but then they also added a few things in, like the quick sale, so I don't have to change the wind direction if I want to go a certain way. I can just hit A and aim where I want to. Oh, I don't have to worry about it. And then they like cut down on like the Triforce quest, where you had to like go and find the maps, then find the piece of the Triforce, instead of it being now just find the pieces, don't worry about the maps, which was nice. So that really helped.
I'm definitely interested to see what route Nintendo takes with putting their old games on the Switch. Because then, like we talked about, I know the rumor is a game streaming service, like, but an on-the-go console, like, if you're sitting in a car or on a plane or something, you don't always have the ability to be connected to Wi-Fi.
Although those companies are getting way better about that. Like I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but like lately I've like everywhere I go I see Xfinity Wi-Fi like everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's Comcast, right?
Yeah.
I think like if we see more of that in the future, that makes more sense to have it like that. But as of right now, it's very like Wi-Fi is at your friend's house and at your house, and like McDonald's. Like it's kind of just where it is. It's not
You're not sitting in a car, except don't some cars have like built-in Wi-Fi capability?
I think a lot of Chevys do.
That's crazy to me. Like that's weird to think about. Like, oh, gotta connect to my car's Wi-Fi before we go on a drive. Like,
yeah. But that's for people that have more money than me.
Yeah, more money than all of us put together.
Yeah.
I put together. I think we could buy one of those cars.
Do we want to?
All right, guys. Let's liquidate this YouTube channel and buy a Wi-Fi car so we can play Switch games on the go.
We go to the bank. How much are we worth? excuse me, we put one YouTube video up.
We'd like to liquidate that.
Give us money.
Yeah. And then another interesting thing to see is we've seen an HD remake for we've seen remakes of all the 3D Zelda games. So now we're looking at possibly one for Skyward Sword. That would be really interesting to see on the Wii, not the Wii, Switch.
I kind of doubt that. I think they're gonna leave Skyward Sword alone. I think like there's such a backlash from the community from that game.
Yeah.
Like as much as
I mean, if they re-release it with the complete lack of motion controls,
it's a very different game at that point. You know, because the game was built around it, and
Yeah.
I could see them not touching it, just solely because of that, because they couldn't find a way to get the gameplay mechanics over, and just because of that, they wouldn't touch it.
because the Joy-Cons do have motion sensors, but it's a different thing than the Wii remote.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a different beast.
Yeah, it's
And,
very
like,
different beast.
I enjoyed the story of that game a lot,
Yeah,
and
me
like
too.
I don't know, people shit on it a lot, and I enjoy it.
I could see them putting out a Skyward Sword like remake. Same story, but like different kind of gameplay.
I don't know, like cause like if you like watch like what Barry says about it and like what the Game Grumps say about what Aaron says about it, like they all have valid like opinions. Like they're not just like spouting nonsense. They're not just like making stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything they're saying is like valid. But like your experience of the game is yours alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. My thing is like I'm not sure if I would want to like. I'm not sure if I would want a game that's not worth the remake. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
Because I don't want like Nintendo to like be burned by like making remakes when they like don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're kind of smart enough to like know which games are really the community's craving for a remake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a couple questions just because I'm interested to see the answers. I'll have to go for common ground consoles here. Super Nintendo game HD remake on the Switch. What is your top one that you would want?
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger is definitely up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've only ever played it like once, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but like I could definitely play it again.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say Chrono Trigger or Link to the Past.
Link to the Past is one of those games I've played so much, and I could still play it again.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Donkey Kong Countries are cool, but with Rare out.
Kirby Superstar, but that game already had a remake on the DS. So
They haven't put that DS remake anywhere else though. The Kirby Superstar Ultra is like my favorite version of that game, and like unless you have the DS game, you can't play the Ultra version anywhere else unless you have a legal emulator. I'm looking at you, pirates on the internet.
No, we spent like a lot of last week talking about emulator.
Yeah, my eyes on UP.
That was high school us.
yeah, that was New Life Who Dis.
Yeah.
New life for this.
Wait, was it? No, you could play the Kirby Superstar on the Wii collection for Kirby's 20th anniversary. That
Yeah,
was
but
just-
it wasn't the Ultra version.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Rip.
there's like I think there's like a Meta Knight mode or something like that was
yeah,
like different.
Superstar Ultra had a Meta Knight mode. I think they redid
Like
some stuff too.
it wasn't a lot different, but like the differences are stuff I miss.
Yeah.
Like when I played, because I think I played the anniversary version on the Wii, and I was like, oh man, I'm missing this out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's SNES. What about 64?
Oh, 64? Ooh.
Glover?
HD Smash.
HD Glover?
Oh
I never
man.
played Glover.
You don't.
Super Mario.
HD Smash, yes, but I would rather have HD Melee than OG Smash.
Yeah, that's true.
OG Smash there's a lot wrong with it.
I feel like the games that like. I don't know. I feel like they've already built upon all the games like in the
That they
64. Yeah.
Outside of the DS release, Mario 64 has never got an HD remake.
Yeah. Well,
I can
Yeah.
see it getting that.
I could see getting that. It did get a port to the DS. Like
Yeah,
the
that's what I was talking
original
about, yeah.
DS. I remember getting that.
And
That was the
honestly,
first
that
game.
did have better graphics.
And that
Yeah.
port was good too because it added Yoshi, it added Wario, it added Luigi as playable characters.
Mhm.
It added a bonus room with bonus levels and like mini games and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. I would love to see a remake of that, like put out somewhere, even on the 3DS, like just like something better than what we used to have on the DS.
Mhm. That would be cool.
The only thing I remember about playing that game was I broke it like crazy with the action replay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember, like, beating the game. I just remember, like, flying around with the action replay all the time.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people would talk about 64 would bring up games like Pokemon Stadium, where it's like, I don't think we want an HD remake of just regular Pokemon Stadium.
They've been slowly making, like, Stadium-esque games. Like, I think the last one was, like, on the Wii.
Every generation up until X and Y, I think. No, I don't think Black and White did. But they all had games that had a battle simulator that you could put your Pokemon in, so you could do tournaments in 3D and stuff.
I think all the games that like people want releases of and stuff on the 64 kind of already either have them or we just want them for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Kirby Crystal Shards HD. It definitely was a very bright and colorful game, so I would like to see those colors and like.
Yeah. But at the same time, we kind of almost got something similar to that when they made Kirby. What Wii game was it? There was a Kirby Wii game that was very similar to that.
Which
Kelowna.
What?
That's a different IP. I was just making.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Kirby.
Return to Dreamland. Return to Dreamland.
Return to Dreamland. Yeah.
Kirby's Butt Adventure.
What? Alright then.
How much can he fit?
You don't want to know.
Oh,
it's more than you care to think.
So yeah, I think in some ways we have gotten spiritual successors to games like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of games on the N64 that could be like, it would really be cool to see remakes.
I mean, rip old, like, 007 games.
Yeah.
007 games used to be, like, awesome. Now they're kind of just, like, whatever.
Now they're Call of Duty ripoffs.
Basically, honestly.
I think it was on the N64, but I also had it on the PlayStation, but man, the Army Men games.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my first introduction to like shooters and like man.
I never played any of those, but I remember
they were fun. There was like there's a helicopter one. There was like just like infantry ones. They're all like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
So something that Steve and I had this conversation earlier. Nintendo seems to be very much neglecting their GameCube era of video games.
Yeah, they did on the last like cycle of like Wii U like things. They released the Prime Trilogy on the eShop, and they did a couple other ones. I want to say on the eShop. I'm gonna look it up. You guys,
but towards the end of the Wii U, I don't think there was ever a GameCube section on the Nintendo eShop.
No, it was only a couple games.
Mm-hmm. You know, it could just be because they might have had right issues with a few of the games that were really big. It could have just been that they've just been waiting, saving them, letting them sit, letting them have their time, and then when the time comes, when it's ready, bring them all out.
And we got like Zelda got the most appreciation from that generation. Mm-hmm. We got HD remakes of both of the GameCube era Zelda games, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. But like games like Super Mario Sunshine, there is absolutely no way to play that other than on GameCube currently. Nintendo has at least re-released 64. I think you can even get Galaxy still, like on the eShop. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but that's still a Wii game that you can buy and put it in your Wii U and play it.
Yeah.
But like if you want to play Sunshine, you have to have a
GameCube.
If you want to play Melee, you have to have a GameCube. Want to play Luigi's Mansion? GameCube.
Want to play Chibi Robo? GameCube. Animal
Crossing? GameCube. And I'm sure the list goes on. Like, there's probably plenty of GameCube games that people like. I think that's the market that's not yet been tapped. I know the GameCube wasn't the best-selling Nintendo console. Like,
no.
It did better than the Wii U, though.
It was really expensive when it came out, I'm pretty sure.
It was really expensive, and it came out coming up against a PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2 and Xbox Original destroyed the GameCube.
I think just the PlayStation 2 on its own destroyed the GameCube just because it was the top-selling console.
Yeah. Outside of the Virtual Boy, is the GameCube second worst selling after the Wii U?
I don't know. I don't think it did that bad.
No.
I think it did pretty bad.
I know what was the 3D one? The Virtual Boy?
Yeah.
Virtual Boy was worst.
Yeah, that's why I said outside of that, because like even that had a limited release.
Mm-hmm. Because it was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I think it might be a time thing. I think they have something planned for it.
I hope.
Because there are a lot of people out there who grew up with the GameCube. Like, that was their first introduction to, like, you know, gaming. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who have a lot of, like, games close to their hearts from the GameCube era. That definitely want something. Nintendo. Chibi Robo. That's what I want.
They had the 3DS game.
They did. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. They gave it to a third party. They did what they could with it, but they made it like a they made like a side scroller action platformer.
Yeah,
which was completely different from the original game.
it looked like it looked similar to the indie game where like you're like the yarn character.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I forgot what the game's called, but that looked like a better version. They looked like they kind of ripped that game off a little bit, and it didn't look as interesting to me.
Yeah. I think Nintendo needs to put a lot more money into retro studios.
Yeah, they've done a good job.
Retro studios have been doing a lot of like making new games that play like old games and are good. Like they made the new Donkey Kong series. They're making they're continuing work on the new Prime.
Which would be really exciting. I played the first Prime, and it was tons of fun.
I always had the issue where I couldn't beat the last level in any of the Prime games.
Yeah, I remember watching my brother struggle against Ridley and how many tires it took, and he finally beat him. But it was worth it. He definitely, I guess, felt the victory on that.
Okay, so this does not include the Switch.
Switch for what?
Give me a second. No, hold on. I found an old figure. Continue what you're saying about whatever. I'm sorry for interrupting that.
Just about how Prime and how it was good.
Prime, very good. We're filling space.
Yep.
Prime, good.
Prime did well.
If you wonder, Prime good.
Good.
Prime good. Good. Don't wonder. No wonder. Prime good.
No wonder.
Pete, cut this part.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cut this part.
No, Pete. What if I say something weird?
That's what people want to hear.
What if I'm accidentally racist? We need our own Barry and be like, Barry, edit this out.
Barry.
Antonio is our Barry.
Antonio,
edit this out.
Yeah. So,
speaking of Antonio, he's a friend of ours that I'm actually thinking of bringing on next week to talk to us about Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, he's saying he's playing that game. It looks fun.
They came out officially today, right?
Yep. We release these on Wednesday. We record these on Tuesday, just for a.
And today's the 28th. I'm not sure if or 29th, 28th.
Yeah, tomorrow's the 30th.
Yeah, today's the 29th. I don't think he said at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said it's fun. I've seen XCOM gameplay. It looks fun. I've seen this. It looks fun. So I don't see why it will do bad. I don't think it will do bad. But yeah. Yep. You know what else I'm really excited for the Switch?
What?
Odyssey. Comes out next month.
Odyssey?
Yeah. September.
I think that's like one of like gonna be the biggest games.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a great holiday seller for the Switch.
Yeah. Apparently, like they're gonna have a hard time keeping stock for the holidays as well. I heard that. I think it's the same issue where like they have like, that flash memory that is the same flash memory they're gonna use for the iPhones.
Yep. So they're competing.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be a really big hindrance for the Switch. But at the same time, like I know that usually Nintendo has a thing where like, oh, we don't have stock, like, ooh, like kind of keep like people interested. I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They always kind of seem like that, especially with like amiibos and stuff. But
Okay.
like this, I think they're generally having a hard time keeping stock of.
So, not counting portable, obviously, the Wii is the most successful Nintendo console sales-wise.
Yes.
It sold 101 million copies.
That thing printed money.
The DS, though, the original DS, which includes the DS and the DSi, not the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
DS Lite?
DS Lite as well. Everything from DS to 3DS, but not including 3DS, sold 154 million, which comes just under PlayStation 2's reported 155 million sales.
Yeah.
So if you roll in the DS and the 3DS, which some people like doing, I think they are very different things.
Mm-hmm.
That would make the dual screen system the highest seller, but currently PlayStation has it. After the Wii, though, in terms of just the home consoles, it goes the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the N64, the GameCube, then the Wii U. And the N64, outside of the GameCube and the Wii U, the N64 sold 32 million. The GameCube only sold 20. And the Wii U only sold 13.
I think it's funny that I had a GameCube and not N64.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I had both.
Some people don't have as much money. Here.
I remember our cousin Thomas had one, and that's how I played it.
The 64?
Mm-hmm, he had a 64. I think because it came out right after we were born, so like it really didn't line up with when we were getting into games.
Well, see, the thing is, like, my brothers were still like.
That's true. You had older brothers.
I had older brothers, so we had Genesis, SNES. We didn't have the NES. We had PlayStation. I didn't realize this until like later in my life. Like, we had every PlayStation console. I just like never really played them that much.
Mm-hmm.
I always played the Nintendo consoles we had.
Mm-hmm.
And as of the next couple of months, the Switch is on track to hit half of the total lifetime sales of the Wii U within its first year.
Wait, what'd you say again? What's it one more time?
It's predicted to happen in the next couple of months. The Switch is getting close to hitting half of the total lifetime sales of the Wii U.
Yeah, that's how good the Switch is doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's able to get halfway to what the Wii U got in its whole lifetime.
I think
so. There's still more Wii U's out there than Switches.
Yes,
that actually surprises me. I thought there'd be more Switches.
I mean, that's also been demand. The Switch though is selling more than the Wii did on launch.
Yeah, it's doing better.
Yeah, but obviously they can't just pass out 10 million consoles at launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the Wii U had years to reach up to that number, and Switch is almost there.
Switch has been, what, March, April,
and we haven't even hit its first holiday season yet.
August,
yeah.
6 years.
If they gear up and they stock up for holiday season and make parents able to find it for their kids, I think the Switch is going to dominate this holiday season.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's still going to have issues because of like the competing hardware, like trying to like.
They're mainly competing with Apple right now, right?
Yeah, for the flash memory.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the biggest one still.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's like other things. Like I'm sure like the touchscreen. Like I think actually the vibrating motors for the HD Rumble, the Joy-Cons, is another proponent that's like
Apple uses as well.
The same motors. For,
I think they use it for their
capacitive touch stuff.
Yeah, like when I have the iPhone 7 Plus, I don't have a button, but it makes it feel like it has a button.
That's not a button.
It gives it a sensation of a click, and I think that uses the same technology that the Joy-Cons use. I don't know that for sure, but
you think
I really like the vibration on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah,
it is nice.
Like I think 1-2 Switch like has done the best. Like a showing off like the HD Rumble, like the little Marvel game.
Yeah,
when you're rolling the Joy-Con back,
you actually can feel it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like there's actually marbles in that thing. It's so cool.
And then the Senran Kagura game is gonna have like the boob physics in the HD Rumble, right?
Yeah.
Is it actually?
I think so.
Oh my lord!
I can't wait for
And
that
don't
game.
You worry, it's going to be a Japan exclusive feature, but it's not. The Switch isn't region locked, so don't you worry your weeby little heart.
One of the cool things about the Joy-Cons too is so one game I really enjoy in 1-2 Switch is the Soda Pop one. This is a fun little one.
Yeah, the shake the bottle.
You hear the fizz, but it's just a vibration.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no speakers in the Joy-Cons.
No,
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
The Joy-Cons are actually like I think one of like the most expensive parts of the Switch to produce. And like they could like make shortcuts on it, but Nintendo really wanted the Joy-Cons to be like a big part of the Switch's experience.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was telling me that there's a game with a sound effect that if you have the volume down and have the Joy-Con on a table, it almost recreates the sound effect with its vibration.
That makes sense to me.
I can't remember
That's
what game
crazy,
it is though. Yeah. I love the Joy-Cons are kind of small. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel and I at least have very large hands.
We have big American hands. Or big Western European or Eastern European hands.
Yeah. And yeah, like the Joy-Cons are kind of small, but outside of that, they are fantastic controllers. I think
Absolutely.
I love the tactile feel of the buttons. Mm-hmm. They give really satisfying clicks. Like I play the PS4 as well. The buttons just don't click. Like
No.
I love a good click.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or like hearing the springs when you hit the triggers.
That's why my favorite controller is the GameCube controller, because I absolutely loved the way it felt in my hand, like the noises it made when you like jiggle the joystick.
Yeah, like we still play Smash, Wii Smash good amount, and
we,
like when you
use
side roll,
controllers.
yeah, we basically all use game controllers unless like someone using the gamepad. But when like you're like side dodging, and like you're just like hitting like the bumpers, like the L and R button. Oh, it's so satisfying.
We were actually all playing last night. We had a couple of our friends and we were playing Smash. I was sitting out around and I realized I'm just sitting there. I'm just listening to you guys, like, the clicking of the controllers. And I was like...
Yeah, I get a little dodge heavy when I'm playing.
Yeah, man. There's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gosh, the Wavebirds were such cool controllers. Like, wireless controllers that worked well.
Yeah, I actually remember I got my Wavebird... Like, when Kmart around us was going out of business, and I got, like, Prime 1 and a Wavebird for, like, really cheap. Mm-hmm. And I've, like, had it ever since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have my original Wavebird. I'm gonna order a replacement thumbsticks, though, because I ripped off the rubber pad on top.
Yeah.
But you can get those replacement thumbsticks pretty cheap, and apparently... As long as you take it slow, it's not that hard to take apart those controllers without damaging them.
Yeah,
I might clean it too.
You can also get like an aftermarket stuff. Like there's like they make that like putty stuff you can just like put on top of it.
Yeah,
and like all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. I was looking into buying a thumbstick that was. It's made by one of the companies that does the controllers the wired controllers that they send out to like pros and stuff. That are designed for durability. And apparently it's a really good thumbstick, but it's one piece. It's solid, so it won't like. Rip off.
Oh, so like the entire base is like the same. Like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize this until I looked it up because a friend requested it to me or told me about it. There is a big community out there for like modded third-party controllers.
Yes.
I didn't really realize that until I saw it, but like scuffs for like the PS4s and all that, like
those things crazy. Like, and they're expensive too. Like and not just because like they were expected to be expensive. They're quality stuff.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft put out the Elite, which apparently is an amazing controller.
I want it, but it's like consistently sold out.
It has like the paddles. It has the swappable D-pad for like because D-pads are one of the most divisive things in gaming.
Like there's like the one there where it's like just a regular cross, and like there's like the one where it's like a concave, like
the 360 one.
It's like a little dome thing.
The 360 had like the all-way D-pad, which was really awkward. But
yeah, I think they upgraded. I'm gonna look it up to see if it's still out of stock. Because every time I've looked at it before, it's been out of stock.
Yeah,
and it's like $100-something usually. It's like $120, I think.
Yeah, at the store I worked at, it was $120. It was actually $20 cheaper than most other places, and it sold pretty quick. No, it didn't stay on long.
And there are companies that you can buy GameCube controllers from that are designed for people who play Smash that are like completely like upgraded. Like the buttons are given strong durability and like
it's like $150 everywhere.
Yeah.
$136 on Amazon, but it's in stock though. Which is like the first time I've seen it in stock.
Yeah. Or you could just buy some third parties make an attachment that you can attach to the back of your controllers that have the paddles if you just want paddles.
Do you think the paddles are going to be a next generation staple?
I kind of hope so.
I feel like they're running out of places to put controls, and I think paddles are going to be the next thing.
The thing I think about paddles is like in games like Overwatch,
we're out of controls. Like there's not a lot of room.
Yeah, when it comes to like characters like Pharah, when you're up in the sky, unless you're like using like a weird like claw grip. Which, like, if you're a pro gamer, you kind of know what a claw grip is. Like, we, like, hold it, like, really awkward. You could probably Google it and find it, too. I'm not sure. But, like...
Paddles solve that.
Yeah, it solves the issue, because you can't press the buttons and use the right stick at the same time unless, like, you're using your thumb on the stick and using your pointer finger on the buttons. Like, it's awkward.
Yeah.
And, there's even some controls that, like, you have to... mush together and stuff. Like, I know there are some like you go to the PlayStation 4 menu for controls for Overwatch. There are tons of unmapped controls.
Absolutely, and like the thing is, like when I play on PC, my mouse has DPI up and down buttons. It has the scroll wheel. It has the 2 regular mouse click buttons, and it has 6 macros. Like that's like over, and plus like just the movement of the mouse is like. The stick on a console.
I think there are also some characters that would benefit greatly from paddles. You'll bring up Pharah, but characters that require you to use an ability and the shooting at the same time. I think paddles would help that out. And the Xbox One definitely tested the waters with the Elite controller. I wouldn't be surprised if both the PS5 and whatever the next Xbox ends up being called have paddles on them.
Xbox One X?
Well, that's still part of the Xbox One.
Well, you say PlayStation 5?
If it ever comes out. PlayStation 5?
Oh, they said Vive, and I was like VR PlayStation? You PlayStation VR?
HTC is trying to sell off the Vive now, apparently.
What do you mean?
They're trying to sell off that part of their company, the VR department.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like the Vive is doing really well.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
I mean, it might not be doing really well, but like a lot of YouTubers have it, and there's a lot of hype behind it consistently.
But apparently VR is slowly declining.
Really?
Even the people that are super into it are saying, like, it doesn't look like there's a bright hope for it. It seems like it's going to be a gimmick technology, kind of like motion controls.
That's sad, because full room VR apparently is like an amazing experience.
Some reviews I've seen seem like it's going to survive as a destination technology. Like, you go to Disney World and you put on a VR headset, and there's a custom-built Disney VR software thing.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I kind of had a feeling it might have ended up like this just because, like, you would need it to be a full room VR, or it'd be one of those weird, like, hamster wall kind of things where, like, you had the VR goggle on, but then you had a thing under you to move around when, you know?
And a lot of developers just weren't willing to develop for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
I think like there's always going to be a good indie scene for it, though.
And, like, you always have the VR videos, too, because, like, the Samsung made the VR headset that's, like, it's pretty cheap, and you can just, like, watch videos, and it's cool.
I think it also doesn't help that the Oculus is going under a ton of, like, legal scrutiny for stolen technologies. Apparently, the Oculus stole a lot of its technology from ZeniMax. This is all allegedly.
Allegedly.
Because one of the developers of the Oculus went from ZeniMax, which is Bethesda's parent company.
Okay.
And HTC is struggling because their smartphones aren't selling as well anymore, so they might have to sell off the Vive.
Really?
Yeah.
I think HTC was like the name brand Android for a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, apparently now they're struggling hard.
They're the one producing the Pixel. The Pixel gets made in the HTC factories.
Interesting.
So we'll have to see what happens with it VR. I don't want to see it fail, but like it.
Well, the thing is, like, unless it's like affordable, like it's gonna be hard because, like, at this point, like I have maybe like $1,000 computer, and like that's kind of like the bottom of the barrel for VR.
And I have a PlayStation 4, which is step one to getting the cheapest PlayStation VR, which is definitely the cheapest of the VR options, but it's not as good, and it's still expensive.
I'm not even sure if it's like the cheapest, honestly, because you have to buy the PlayStation. How much you pay for PlayStation? Like $300?
I paid $250 for mine.
$250?
Remember, I got mine during the
deal.
The deal with the golden PlayStation.
Okay, so $250 plus the actual VR headset is like $400. You have to have the camera and the controllers, which I don't know how much.
Well,
that
I
is.
think they're assuming that a lot of people had those, though. Because
But
can you
a
use
lot
the
of
Move
people-
controller from the PlayStation 3?
Yes.
Is it the same
I
ones?
think it's the same controllers.
Okay.
But how many people have this?
The glowing.
I've only ever seen one pair in my entire life, and that's the pair that Steve has.
Yeah, we got
Like-
those Christmas when they came out, thinking it'd be like the next big thing, and nothing
I
supported
mean,
them.
motion controls, that was for a while. The Kinect, the Move, the Wii. And
The Wii was the only one that
I
ever
think the
really...
Kinect is dead now, too. I think
Well,
Microsoft
and
is
the only-
phasing it out.
The only reason the Wii even like had games that had motion controls is because they were all first-party games, and then developers that went specifically to the Wii because the install base was so like good.
It's interesting to see that when Microsoft released the Xbox One, they bundled it with the Kinect. And
They don't do it
I think
anymore.
the S can't. I don't think the S even supports the Kinect.
I don't think there's a plugin for it or anything.
We're getting close to our time, so I want to talk about a couple of relevant things in the gaming news. I don't think either of you are big followers of the series, but the Half-Life 3 thing happened this week.
Yeah,
I definitely heard about that, and it's definitely interesting.
I just want Valve to respond.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, a lot of people are giving up on that series and thinking like Valve has refused. It's been a long time. I think it was 2004 when Half-Life 2 was released. I think 2006 or 2005 was the Episode 2 release, and they have basically been silent on the matter since.
I think it's like a safety thing. They don't want to they want to endanger their company basically with like either a yes or a no.
I think people are.
There's too much hype for it now.
People might force we're fans of them. A really good video to watch on is Funhouse's Half-Life 3 video where they talk about how Valve probably isn't making it.
Yeah.
They went into a lot of detail and they went to a lot of explaining. They broke it down. They're like, we're not going to put on the kids' gloves. I know a lot of you want Half-Life 3, but here's why Valve wouldn't. do it. Like,
and I mean, if you look at like all the games you used to play as a kid and like all that stuff, there are so many open-ended games that never got like releases. They're like, I mean, there's like so many like. I love the Time Splitter series. I'm not sure if anyone else like even like remembers that as much as I do. That game is never getting another game.
But Half-Life 2 was also one of the most successful games.
That's very true.
And they promised releases.
Really?
And, yeah. They canceled 3 and said 3 would be rolled into Half-Life 3. But it ended on a cliffhanger too. I think that's what upsets people a lot.
Okay.
Half-Life 2,
I don't know the story. So
yeah, Half-Life 2 Episode 2 ended on a cliffhanger. I played those games probably in 2009. I can't imagine the wait for people who were excited for Half-Life 2 to be released and never got a conclusion to those stories.
Duke Nukem forever. It's hot to say right now.
Yeah, it's crazy that Half-Life 3 and also games like Portal 3 or whatever just might be gone because Valve's just not really interested in them anymore. And they're pouring support into Dota and stuff.
Dota's like a big game.
Yeah. And Steam. And it seems like Dota and Steam are kind of where their heads are at right now.
I would love another Portal game.
Another Portal game? Yeah. I think everyone would. I think everyone would love a Half-Life 3 or Portal 3.
You know what would even like subsidize that would be if there was a Portal creator.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
That would make a lot of people happy.
Like if you just like made a Portal online.
That. I don't know if it was official.
I don't think so.
I think it was very complicated to use, but I think there were systems to make Portal levels.
I'm sure it was.
Because, like, Bethesda, for Fallout 3, released the GECK, and I think they released something similar to that.
What's the GECK?
Basically, it just gave you all their assets in, like, a free open-world editor to, like, make your own dungeons and places in the world.
That's cool.
You could open up your map. I want to lay down the Alien Blaster and infinite ammo right in front of Vault 101. You load up your game, you leave Vault 101, it's all right there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to my friend about this at work earlier. We were talking about how like there's Mario Maker and how we really want to see a Zelda Maker.
I was just thinking that like the Mario Maker like engine, like the Mario Maker formula would work really well with like the Portal creator I was just referring to.
So what do you think?
And a Zelda creator would be amazing.
What do you think
too.
a Zelda creator would be? It would be
top down.
I think it'd be like.
What do you think there would be a top down option and also a Zelda 2 option, or just top down option?
Just top down. Zelda 2 did not.
Zelda 2 is a different game.
But there would only be
then
there would only be 2 different graphic sets. I guess there would be.
You could have the original Zelda.
Link to the Past.
I would say you could do like different mechanics from different games. Like there'd be like there'd be like a Minish dungeon. You could do.
I forgot about all the Game Boy and Advance.
Yeah, you could do a what's the newest one? Link Between Worlds one. Link to the Past, like classic one, or like even like a classic like NES Zelda one. Like all of like the top down ones could work. I think.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see that,
especially seeing what people did with Super Mario Maker and the levels that they made,
and then looking at like Doom had a level creator too, and how many people played that.
And Forge in Halo has always been successful.
Yeah.
And apparently Halo 5 introduced Forge something which you could get on your computer, make the maps on your computer, and then put them in the game. And people did some crazy stuff with that. I'm sure there are plenty of Halo YouTubers out there, but the things to do in series from Achievement Hunter, they play some maps. You don't even know that they're playing Halo 5 sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's basically Roblox.
Yeah.
Roblox is the best game.
Or, gosh, the Trials level editor. I played Trials. I played Amnesia in Trials.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but they did. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, there was no bike or anything near you. You're just walking, and, like, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. That's like, I don't know if you guys ever played it. I played Little Big Planet when I came out, and they had already like Sony made Metal Gear Solid levels that you could play in Little Big Planet, and it's like, what am I doing right now? I'm a Sackboy dressed as Big Boss. Like what?
And to close us out, let's step into the dojo for Overwatch Corner.
Ooh,
Overwatch
my
Corner.
favorite.
Yeah, because in the past week we got a lot of juicy nuggets of Overwatch information.
Yeah, what we
We got Junkertown.
We got Junkertown.
We got the Diva and Mercy changes.
I think we talked about Junkertown last week in Diva.
We talked about
I think we knew that we were getting
Diva.
Mercy
I don't think
changes.
we talked about Junkertown though.
We
I
did.
can't remember.
We did. We did.
Okay.
I don't think Mercy was announced then, though.
Nope.
No, Mercy was announced the other day.
We have the new alt, which is like the Valkyrie mode.
Mm.
Rez was moved to her ability, and you can do one at a time.
We
It
also
has
have the
a pretty
May
long-
short.
the May short came out. It made a cancer character a little bit more likable because of the personality.
But it still won't stop you from getting mad at her when she kills you.
Yeah, it won't stop you from being frozen and then just like feeling the dread as the fucking ice spike hits you in the head.
I'm really excited for the Mercy changes and the Diva changes. Today, actually, the Junkrat, Roadhog, Orisa, and Widow changes went live.
What are the Orisa?
Orisa fires quicker, and her shield is bigger.
Okay.
Junkrat has his 2 concussion mines. And his ult is faster and doesn't have a timer going up walls.
Mm-hmm.
Widow has a reduced cooldown on her grappling hook, and her Venom Mine allows her to keep track of whoever steps on her Venom Mine.
That's cool.
And I think for Roadhog, he can move while healing, and damage does less to him while he's healing.
Yes, you can do take a breather while moving, and that's not going to fix him for a lot of people, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's the first buff he's had, I feel like, in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I feel like he had. Did he have like 2 nerfs in a row?
I think so.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Because his hook was, it was always, they would nerf it, then buff it, then nerf it, then buff it, and eventually nerf it all the way to the point of, you can't get one-hit kills anymore.
I've also Deathmatch came out today, officially on outside of the PTR.
Yeah, live.
I really like that new map.
Yeah, we played a little bit right before the podcast, and that was definitely fun.
I'm excited to play more. We haven't tried Team Deathmatch yet, but I'm actually very excited to try that. Hopefully tonight.
I want to see what the meta ends up being for these games, because I feel like for deathmatch, it's gonna end up being like one character that just like shines above the rest.
Yeah.
But as far as we saw, it seemed pretty balanced.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I saw May getting kills. I saw Farrah getting kills. I saw someone in our first game was playing Lucio and actually he was in the top 4.
I think the 2 or 3 winners that we saw were Farrah, McCree, and someone else. I don't know.
And you get a win count if you are in the top 4.
Yeah.
And you get a lose count if you're in the bottom 4. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that affects Overwatch.
I wonder like if there's going to end up being any like game mode specific buffs or nerfs after that.
Yeah.
Because it kind of seems like a different game when you're playing by yourself.
It's going to be interesting though because for now they have no intention of bringing deathmatch out of arcade.
Yeah.
They said never say never because they said never to deathmatch originally, but now it's in the arcade.
Yeah.
And which means one day we could see deathmatch in comp. Like that could be a game that pops up in comp.
That'd be interesting to have like different like an arcade comp.
Or
like one season is just like something different.
Or it would be cool to see another game mode added to comp. I don't think they're ever going to add elimination to comp. I think elimination is getting its own comp, but not in the game.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be in esports stuff.
Yeah, they'll do a 3v3, which is kind of cool. I actually like that. It takes the same concept of the game, but just gives it a new spin.
Well, I was saying like arcade. When I say arcade comp, I meant like you go into comp and then like it's like different game modes you can play. Like not necessarily the same modes in arcade, but just like.
Or it would be interesting to see like I don't think Capture the Flag will ever be added into the comp rotation. I think that
Capture the Flag was cringy every time I played it.
I think that game type was not that well received.
It was in the beginning.
Yeah,
it was the first time we got to see something different like that.
Yeah.
But as of now, it's kind of gotten old.
And I feel like at some point though, I think people are going to want something different than capture points or payloads and comp. I think deathmatch.
You think it would be like in like the rotation, like of like random things?
I think so far of what we've seen, if one was going to get added, it would be deathmatch.
Would it be team deathmatch?
But especially they've cut out 6v6 deathmatch. I don't know. But of the game types that don't have a comp rotation, I don't know what else could be added in there.
Lucio Ball.
I mean, they did have comp Lucio Ball.
Yeah.
18 plus, hot girls only, mic required.
No killing.
No chill, no kill.
How do you win? You have to romance all the hotties.
Mm-hmm. You have to get them to punch you, and then they're your servant.
Is there a ref or? I don't understand. How this
I feel like
works.
there would be a big cringe moment though if you're like playing comp and it's like, now loading Elios, capture the flag, and you're just like,
ooh, yeah. I don't want to lose. I don't want to degrade my score, but I have to leave this match.
or now loading Elios, total mayhem. It's like,
Oh,
good. But it's also unlocked, so it's like 6 tracers versus 6 bastions.
or Gosh, no limits showing up in there.
That's how.
It's stuff they would never do, but
I don't think there was ever no limits on comp. I think comp was the first thing to be locked, because no limits used to be the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days.
It's interesting to see what they do, because I'm sure at some point they're going to want to change up stuff a bit, and they'll probably at some point add a new game type into the comp rotations.
I want no limits to be back in arcade more often.
Yeah. People were really hoping they would replace Mayhem with no limits this come around, but they didn't.
Mayhem's fun for your first couple games, and you kind of realize it very quickly becomes a stalemate, especially if both teams can figure out, like, oh, if I can find a way to protect
Zarya.
Now, especially if there's a Sombra, like a good Sombra on the other team, kind of negates the fact that like you're getting your stuff back so quickly.
And you have like Lucios who are like impossible to kill because they can keep jumping around and healing and everybody else. So
it's definitely like interesting and fun to play, but like I definitely would rather have something else sometimes. I think they should add like one more slot, but I guess that's a server limitation or something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I'm all for having our 6v6 no limits again, so we can start our Dwarven Fortresses once again. All 6 Torbjorns versus all 6 Symmetras.
Oh god!
No. Two Orissas, 2 Bastions, 2 Torbjorns.
There we go. That would be the life.
Or actually, maybe one of those Torbjorns to Lucio or Mercy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, Torbjorns and Mercies, made me think about it. I really hope we get another like story-esque mode like we got with Uprising.
So, I would be do you think they're going to follow the same event schedule this year?
I think close.
I could definitely see Halloween returning as Halloween, Winter returning as Winter, Lunar returning. I could see Uprising this time coming back and like being able to get Uprising stuff, but being about a different story event.
Yeah.
It would be cool if they used that slot of their event schedule to focus on a different aspect of the past story.
Or maybe like just like I don't know, do different stuff too. Like have like events where like you get the same skins as a different event, but like there's a new event. Like,
yeah.
I completely skip the holidays and just only do Kwanzaa.
A Hanukkah event.
No, just Kwanzaa.
Oh, okay.
It's literally only Doomfist and no one else gets anything.
And Orisa.
Okay, yeah.
Well, do we have any closing thoughts?
I love everyone listening to this podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Same, I guess.
I hope you have a great day.
I hope we all have a great day.
I hope you have the best day you've ever had in your entire life.
I hope you have a better day than Daniel wants you to have.
And if it was your birthday this past week, happy birthday.
Oh my god, are you who is that?
Catacris.
That's Catacris, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. If it was your birthday this week, I hope you had a bad birthday.
Hey Steve.
I hope you had a bad day.
Yeah.
Bye.